Trudeau. Let's skip ahead to Poilievre, who has no problem articulating what it means to be a proud Canadian.
We're going to take back control and put our country first. That means rebuilding our economy, bringing home production, rebuilding our military, supporting a strong border, reinstating controls on immigration, and most of all, being proud of our country and unapologetic for our history. We need to honor our past and our shared values. We need to live out the dream that started with John A. Macdonald. Yes, I said John A. Macdonald, who believed in an independent and sovereign Canada. We need to uphold our heroes, stop tearing down our symbols, remind people who come here that when they're given a Canadian flag and they land on Canadian soil, that it's the greatest gift on earth and that they should be proud to be part of the Canadian family. That's what it means to be a proud Canadian. That's what it means to put Canada first. Let's bring it home.
Boy, a little bit different than we're not Americans.
Slightly.
Holy mackerel.
That's what you have when you have more than two brain cells to rub together and hope for a little spark of static. Again, somebody who's completely able to articulate what it means to be a Canadian for those of us who are here, for those of us who choose Canada. Justin Trudeau, the best he can come up with is, harder, at least we're not Americans. It's an embarrassment. And Justin Trudeau decided that he should go to the United States and tell his big, bold theories to an American audience after canceling all of his media appearances before Christmas with Canadian audiences. He goes to the Americans to speak directly to them and insult them. And another point that is sort of a side tangent. I feel like I'm Trump because he sort of goes on these little wiggly side tangents when he's talking. Interesting choice to speak directly to the anti-Trump network, CNN, which is what Trudeau
Jake
did.
Tapper, of all people.
Of all people. Danielle Smith, even Doug Ford, who gets very little right on this topic, knows enough to go to talk to Fox, which is Trump's people, and they know that Trump watches Fox. So, I mean, Trudeau went there to talk to Trump's enemies instead of talking directly to Trump. Again, thanks for nothing, idiot.
You know, it's amazing. I think that was the same press conference. There was an interesting question asked, not necessarily a bad one, but interesting, by a member of the mainstream media. I can't remember who it was, Sheila. And she was saying that because Trump is hell-bent, allegedly, on putting in these 25% tariffs on Canada, will you, if you form the next government, steer your mandate away from the carbon tax to fighting back against the tariffs? And Poilievre's answer was absolutely brilliant. He said the carbon tax is a tariff on all Canadians right now. And it was so coincidental while that press conference was happening because Lady Menzoid was having a conniption. It had nothing to do, for a change, with anything I did to her. And I do love to annoy her because, let's face it, you only annoy the ones you love. But Sheila, we got our Enbridge natural gas bill. Give me 10 seconds to analyze it. Okay, customer charge, $25.90. Delivery charge, $37.87. Isn't that amazing? Delivery charge, like somebody comes along in a truck and goes,
right.
Here, Mrs. Menzies, your natural gas. But
it's not coming on the existing infrastructure already to your house that you paid for when you built your house.
Exactly. Transportation to Enbridge, I don't even know what that means, $24.19. Here's the actual gas price, $48.86. Now, Sheila, make sure you're seated. Here is the federal carbon charge, okay? $75.03. By far, the biggest charge of all these bogus charges is that carbon tax. Are you telling me that we don't benefit, that millions of Canadians don't benefit if you take that $75 bucks?
That's just on one bill.
One bill.
That's not on your electricity.
Yeah.
If you are natural gas electricity, like so many Albertans, that's not on filling up your vehicle. That's not on your groceries. There's a hidden excise tax. Actually, we've got a clip of Poilievre discussing the future of Canadian energy exports, and I think he puts it just about right.
The reality is putting Canadian tariffs on American energy wouldn't do very much because they buy a hell of a lot more oil and gas from us than we do from them. In fact, our entire trade surplus with the Americans is the result of oil and gas. When President Trump complains about America's trade deficit with Canada, the concern he's raising really is that Canada is selling oil and gas at a massive price discount to American refineries and LNG plants that are able to massively profit at our expense. It is a ripoff. We're ripping ourselves off with this approach. Because of fanatical and stupid environmental extremists in the Liberal government and throughout the country, we are forced to sell almost all of our energy exports to the Americans. So the answer to that is to stop being stupid and start building LNG plants, pipelines, refineries, upgraders, and other energy infrastructure so that we can sell our energy to the world without going through the Americans. That would allow us the independence and the sovereignty that we need to support our economy free from these threats. But I would remind our American friends that they benefit from our affordable, reliable energy, and the alternative is Venezuela, Iran, and other foreign dictatorships. Why would we not want to have a North American energy market that enriches us both?
You know, Sheila, what a breath of fresh air. And even not just in terms of what, comes out of the mouth of liberals, but I was hearing a sound clip of Premier Doug Ford of Ontario speaking about the Trump tariffs. And he gave the example of, well, this is going to hurt Americans. Say Americans are going to buy a pickup truck built in Oshawa. It's going to be 25% more for them. Hello? There hasn't been pickup trucks manufactured by General Motors in Oshawa for years now. Years, Sheila. So can somebody buy this guy a calendar so he knows what the hell he's talking about? My personal theory why he's against the tariffs, as you know, come wintertime, we have to import cherries. And my gosh, can you imagine the cost of Ford for that ingredient of his cherry cheesecake?
Oh, yeah, and that's funny because Ford is invoking some COVID era language. We'll get to that in a second. But Poilievre could not be more right. First of all, do I think that Trump is going to slap tariffs on Canadian oil and gas? I'll tell you no, because once gas goes up a few cents a gallon in the Midwest, things will change pretty fast. And then he's right to point out that the Liberals have forced us into a monopoly with the United States, leaving us vulnerable to tariffs with regard to the energy sector. Japan has come pleading to us at least twice now for liquefied natural gas. Germany, we could offset their reliance on Russian energy if we would just sell them liquefied natural gas. On the table, dead on arrival, once the Liberals took power, Northern Gateway and Energy East. Those both would have been export pipelines to get Canadian energy to Tidewater. Right now, even with the Trans Mountain pipeline expansion, much of that, all of that oil and gas either ends up in the Lower Mainland or Cherry Point Refinery in Washington. So it still goes to the United States. We have to get access to foreign markets, and the Liberals have made sure that never happened. And here we are.
Sheila, shame on you. Didn't you hear what Blackface had to say to the Germans, the Japanese? There was another country.
I forget, but there's no business case.
Was it Greece? Yes, there's no business case. We're now talking about when you fulfill those contracts to those three countries.
Trillions.
I think it was approaching $1 trillion. Yes, a trillion with a T, folks. $1 trillion. And Blackface says there's no business case. This is the guy, of course, that said the budget will balance itself.
Do you want to know why? Where's the natural gas in this country? northern British Columbia, and Alberta.
Yep.
And we wouldn't want those places that are so strongly conservative to benefit from this. And when he does this to British Columbia, especially, he's robbing Indigenous people from way out of generational poverty.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, he's
Mr.
robbed
Reconciliation.
Yeah, and well, he doesn't seem to mind that so many reserves have boil advisories for their drinking water. But Sheila, the point I'm getting to, think of $1 trillion of fresh payola in the Treasury. Let's put it this way. How many houses could we build with that? How many hospitals could we build with that? How is there not a business case, and for that matter, a political case, and for that matter, even a social justice case of having $1 trillion of found money? This is absolutely disgraceful.
It's $1 billion a hospital. So there's the math for you. And I know that through my friend Chris Sims from the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, who happened to be my guest on the Gun Show this week.
Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing and becoming a Rebel News Plus member today, right here on the page. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. Members get instant access to all of our shows, invitations to exclusive events, and access to our premium content like live event footage and documentaries you won't see anywhere else. Only Rebel News Plus members can join the conversation by participating in the comments section of our new website. That way you can have your say too. More than anything, though, you'll be able to take pride in supporting real, honest journalism, and you'll help our talented team continue to do the work to push back on the establishment. We really can use your help. We need it, in fact. So thank you, and enjoy Rebel News Plus.